Shuri's new faction has a name. I am Chris with the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Stardom, April 3rd, 2022, Cinderella Tournament Round 1, available on Stardom World. The Cinderella Tournament is a neat concept from Stardom. It is a single elimination tournament, but the catch is you can win via pinfall, submission, or over-the-top elimination. That over-the-top stipulation adds a lot of chaos. It enables upsets more easily, so it is not uncommon for a veteran to lose to a newer wrestler. The first round has a 10-minute time limit to each match, and later rounds have longer time limits. The winner of the Cinderella tournament wins a fancy dress and gets one wish. That one wish is pretty much a title shot of your choice, and normally the winner asks for a Wonder of Stardom white belt title shot, but not always. This show had the whole first round and one second round match, so it was 16 matches long, so let's get through them. This was a multi-camera show with Japanese commentary. Before the first match, there was a beautiful opening ceremony which introduced all the competitors, but Mina Shirakawa was missing. The reason for that would be answered later. The first match of the tournament was Unagi Sayaka versus newly returned Hina. Hina had recently rejoined Stardom after taking time off for school, and this was her first match back. Hina was able to showcase her judo background with some nice hip tosses. Hina did also bring a more aggressive wrestling style to this match, which was nice to see. But Unagi Sayaka was able to get a pinfall win with her version of the Sister Abigail to move on to the second round. The second match was between Waka Tsukiyama and Saki Kashima. In the lead up to the match, Saki Kashima had been making fun of Waka, seeing her as no threat. Waka put on her serious face for this match and just went at Saki. The attacks were so relentless that Saki Kashima tried to run away back up the entrance ramp, but Waka chased her down and threw her back in the ring. That may have been a mistake. Saki Kashima hit one move in the whole match and won with it, trapping Waka with the Kishikaise for the pinfall win. Waka's losing streak continues. Micah vs. Hanan was the third match. I was hoping that big match Hanan would get the victory, but it wasn't to be. Hanan started the match very aggressively with a dropkick, then started her on her plan to take out Micah's arm. Hanan would target Micah's arm with kicks and submissions whenever she could. Hanan was a bit too eager to try and kick Micah off the apron about halfway through the match though, and she lost the advantage when Micah stomped her after a missed basement dropkick. It wasn't too much later that a lariat and a Michinoku Driver 2 got Micah the victory. Micah was selling her elbow though after the match on the way to the back. Bloody Mina reappeared versus Mirai for the fourth match. Bloody Mina is Mina's dark alter ego that last appeared during her match against Tam Nakano last December. During her press conference, Mirai tore up a note that Mina gave her years ago when they were in TJPW together. That act pushed Mina over the edge. Mina came to the ring with dark hair as opposed to her usually pink hair. And the shortest way to explain the difference is regular Mina is bubblegum sexy and Bloody Mina is darkly erotic. Mina, realizing Mirai is much stronger than her, tried instead to win with mind games, taunting Mirai throughout the match like bringing a heart made of pieces from the torn up note and baiting Mirai to follow her outside the ring, where Mina was able to throw her into the ring post and almost got a count out victory while she was doing sexy poses in the ring. The match was over for Mina though when, in the act of escaping a move while on Mirai's shoulders, she fell to the apron. Then Mirai ran and hit her with a lariat that made Mina fall to the floor and lose by over-the-top rules. Mirai then picked up the heart note that Mina brought before going to the back. Stars members collided in the fifth match, Momo Koko versus Mayu Iwatani. Momo Koko tried her best, but it never felt like Mayu Iwatani lost control of the match, even the 2 times she found herself on the apron. Momo Koko got a bit of success with her drop kicks, but Mayu Iwatani's arsenal of moves was too much. Mayu Iwatani got the pinfall victory after a top corner frog splash was followed by a bridging suplex. Mayu Iwatani advances. 2 favorites to win the tournament, Natsupoi vs. Starlight Kid was next. Azumi may be Starlight Kid's eternal rival, but Natsupoi probably sees Starlight Kid as her own rival. Over the previous year, these two have had 4 singles matches, and they have a record of 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 draws against each other. This match was quick and action-packed. Both wrestlers dispensed any build-up and just started trying to hit each other with their big moves right away. The final 2 minutes of this match were probably my favorite part of the whole show. It was a lot of fighting on the apron, Ototai interference, Mirai running defense, a double stomp, and a black tiger driver by Starlight Kid. But it was quick thinking by Natsupoi to reverse a pin and toss Starlight Kid out of the ring with her legs that won Natsupoi the match to advance. There goes my bracket. I had Starlight Kid winning. Oh well. A battle between two women who ruled Stardom in 2021 was next. Utami Haishishida versus Tam Nakano. In the lead up to this match, Utami Haishishida was mocking Tam Nakano by impersonating her cute mannerisms and doing her own versions of Tam Nakano's social media videos where she pretends to be your girlfriend. But when Utami came to the ring, she was her normal, confident Red Queen self. This seemed to annoy Tam, and she asked where cutesy Utami was. Utami said she wasn't there and was watching the event on pay-per-view. Utami then shoulder tackled Tam and did cutesy poses over Tam on the mat. This match was great. It felt like a sped up version of a singles match these two may have had for a title. There were great sections on the apron where Tam did a great job of keeping her feet from touching the floor, and the back portion of the match saw both hitting power bombs and suplexes on each other. But they didn't have enough time, and the bell rang at 10 minutes draw, so they are both eliminated. Even if it was a draw, I was not disappointed, and no one really expected either to win the Cinderella tournament. The finalists of last year's Cinderella tournament meet Sai Kamitani versus Micah. This match was oddly placed on the card. It was the only second round match of the night, because as the World of Stardom white belt title holder, Sai had a bye. Micah beat Hanan early in their night, so had to do double duty and walk to the ring with tape around her elbow that Hanan had targeted in their match. These two wrestlers know each other very well, and they seem to dodge or have counters for each other's moves. It felt like half this match took place on the apron, while Sai had tried really hard to get Micah to the floor. Micah caught a Sai Kamitani Frankensteiner attempt and powerbombed Sai to the floor, but Micah's feet also hit the ground, so it was a double elimination. After the match, Micah got on the mic and said she was disappointed about the result, but wanted to have a match for Sai Kamitani's Wonder of Stardom white belt. Sai Kamitani said she was expecting Micah's challenge and accepted. This match will happen May 5th in Micah's hometown. After 3 great matches, I guess this was the cooldown match. A meeting of Stardom's newer roster members, Mai Sakurai versus Lady C. This was a pretty basic and quick match. The highlight was the extended boot exchange. These two just took turns kicking each other in the face longer than you would expect. The ending was sudden when Mai Sakurai got a roll-up pin on Lady C for the victory. Mai Sakurai is being built up as the heel of the new crop of wrestlers. She has beaten fan favorites Waku Tsukiyama and now Lady C in singles matches. The 10th match on the card was Rina versus Saya Ida. In wrestling, an easy way to make a story out of a match is to target an opponent's body part and focus on it. Rina decided she wanted to tell a story by attacking Saya Ida's blue hair. During the match and after, Rina constantly targeted Saya Ida's hair by pulling on it or tossing her by the hair. The match made its way to the apron, and Rina was trying to suplex Saya Ida to the floor, but Saya Ida shook her off and Rina fell to the floor. Saya Ida started to celebrate thinking she won the match, but Rina didn't go over the top rope, so she was still legal and tried to drag Saya by the legs onto the floor. Saya Ida is strong though and pulled herself back into the ring, where she was able to pin Rina with a move much like the Kuma roll for the victory. A random side note is Miyu Iwatani was on commentary from the 8th match onwards, and apparently Saya Ida makes Miyu laugh really easily. Multiple times throughout the match you could just hear Miyu Iwatani laughing at her Stars teammate. Clown vs. Bear was the 11th match, Fukigen Death vs. Kaguma. This was just a fun and silly match. Before the match, Fukigen Death had a special Titantron showing her as Cinderella, but still wearing her face paint, which is a fun visual. Kaguma and Fukigen have great comedy chemistry in this match, stealing and adding to each other's signature spots. After the silliness, there was a section where they just kept trading pin attempts, but Kaguma was able to get the upper hand and got a pinfall victory. If you like comedy in wrestling, you would like this match. A powerhouse battle was next for the 12th match, Ruaka vs. Himeka. How this match played out is much different than what I was expecting. From the jump, when Ruaka knocked Himeka down with a shoulder tackle, this was Ruaka's match. Ruaka controlled Himeka pretty much the whole match, keeping pressure on Himeka with the help from her Otis Tai stablemates a couple times. Ruaka's box even made an appearance. Himeka was able to get victory from the jaws of defeat though when she pulled Ruaka off the top corner and got her in position for a power bomb, which was followed by a running lariat, and Himeka wins via pinfall. Himeka is a favorite to win the tournament, but she barely beat Ruaka. I wonder how she will do next round. The 13th match on the card was between Hizuki and the rookie that Stardom sees a lot of potential in, Miyu Amasaki. Miyu Amasaki did pretty well this match. She tried to get the jump on Hizuki by drop-kicking her before the bell and continuing to keep the pressure on her, but Hizuki is the vet in this match and would exploit any openings or opportunities. Miyu Imasaki did get to show off some of her cool moves like her double hook jumping DDT with the splits and her knee bar submission. Hizuki was able to get the victory with a chicken wing submission that Miyu Imasaki couldn't escape or get to the ropes for. Miyu Imasaki has a bright future, but today the vet Hizuki was victorious. A friendly interfaction match was next. Donald Del Mondo members Julia and Tekla meet in the 14th match of the card. They both started with some nice mat work, and it felt like they were evenly matched for most of the match. Throughout, neither could get the advantage for long before a hold got reversed or a forearm was dodged. It was after Julia reversed Tekla's Dodeko death drop attempt that Julia gained control of the match that she needed. A glorious driver was initially reversed by Tekla, but Julia quickly reversed that into a pin and got the pinfall victory. After the match, there were no hard feelings, and it made me want to watch a match between these two with a longer than 10-minute time limit. The 15th match was next, and it's a grudge match. Azumi versus Momo Watanabe. This match was a sprint. It was so fast. Things were happening all the time, and sometimes multiple things were happening at the same time. Momo Watanabe came to the ring with a wrench and attacked Azumi before the bell with it, but Azumi was able to get the wrench out of her hand and the match started. It looked like Momo Watanabe had the match won pretty quickly though when she hit Azumi with the Black Peach driver. But she didn't want to just win the match, she wanted to injure Azumi again like she did a few months ago, so threw her out of the ring so Odotai could get some shots in. This caused a gang brawl between Queen's Quest and Odotai outside the ring, and while the ref was trying to break it up, Momo Watanabe loaded her boot with the wrench. Azumi had felt that loaded boot before, so did all she could to dodge Momo Watanabe's kicks, and reversed a kick into the Azumi Sushi pin and got the victory. Azumi moves on in the Cinderella tournament and got one over on Momo Watanabe. That brings us to the final match of the first round, Shuri versus new Stardom roster member Ami Sorei. Shuri was originally supposed to get a bye as the Wonder of Stardom Red Belt champion, but declined the bye and wanted to fight her bodyguard Ami Sorei in her first Stardom match instead. This match was meant to be an introduction to the new wrestler Ami Sorei, and she did well. She didn't show a lot of different moves, but you see why Shuri wanted her. She is strong and fast. Her shoulder tackles knocked Shuri down multiple times, and she was able to get Shuri on her shoulders with ease for a torture rack facebuster. Shuri, though, is much more experienced, and when time was running out, decided to finish the match with a really nasty-looking submission that had Ami Sorei tied up with nowhere to go, so she submitted. Shuri advances, but the important stuff happened after the match. Shuri got on the mic and introduced the name of her new faction, God's Eye. Mirai walked into the ring and said she was moved by the match and wanted to join Shuri in God's Eye. Shuri agreed to let Mirai in, so now Mirai and Shuri have left Donna Del Mondo over a 2-week period. I get the feeling that Mirai will follow whoever is strongest on the roster, and Shuri is now. But that won't last forever, so I wonder what Mirai's journey will be in the future. And that's how the show ends, with the introduction of God's Eye and their original 3 members, Shuri, Mirai, and Ami Sorei. This was a great show, and the short time limits kept the show's pace up, but still, it is 16 matches long, which is a lot. There are 6 matches I would recommend to watch. Mina Shirakawa vs. Mirai, Natsupoi vs. Starlight Kid, Utami Haishishida vs. Tam Nakano, Saya Kamatani vs. Micah, Azumi vs. Momo Watanabe, and the final match and the post-match comments from Shuri. The next Stardom show will be on the 9th of April, but a more important show will be on the 10th and includes 2 second-round matches from the Cinderella tournament. This has been the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Stardom April 3rd, 2022, Round 1 of the Cinderella tournament. Thanks for listening.